Hello, YouTubers. Okay, so for my day 3 Comic Con impression, pretty much as I said in the second video, I accidentally erased day 3 and 4 impressions. This probably won't take long because day 3 was a little bit shorter. Okay, so starting out in the morning, we woke up later just because we were so tired after being up from 6 in the morning the day before and not going in bed until about 3:30. Ended up skipping breakfast just because by the time we woke up, which is at 10, and getting ready, they had already stopped serving breakfast at the Days Inn. So we ended up, we quickly shot over there to get ready for the closing ceremony and to say goodbye to the, it was a farewell to guests. Pretty much we got there. Chicken went about his way. He went to do that, and I decided to skip it just because I didn't think there was going to be much to it. So I actually ended up, after going and handing in the survey for the thing, and also going and putting it in for my DVD for season 5 that they mail out once you go and fill out the paper, ended up getting a couple of things from different booths. I went upstairs. I was actually going to go get a they had a charm bracelet. It was one for the crap. What was it? It was for the super. It was called the supernatural bracelet. Sadly, get up there, they're sold out. So I ended up getting my last few little bits that I could find of things I wanted. Went down and got a drink, and then I actually sat down with one of the guys that went with us, Caleb. Sat down and watched anime that they were showing in I think the Anime One Room, I believe. Which some of them were actually interesting. Some of them were a little I actually sat down at the sort of the middle point of the first one that they were showing, which is called Dog Detective. Really cutesy, seemed very funny. Reminded me a bit of sort of a off type of, Conan the Boy Detective. It seemed like it might be interesting, so I might check out some more of that. Actually, one second. Let me actually get the list so I don't screw these up. Let me see. Yep. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I ended up. Okay, I was actually wrong. It wasn't Dog Detective. It was called Q-Tail Detective. And I actually sat in there for quite a few hours, having to run to the bathroom. As I said, I got food poisoning the night before. So it was an in and out kind of running moment. Not good. The next one was called The Unlimited. It seemed to be a very interesting series. Pretty much you had a group of people that were born with powers. Reminded me a little bit of sort of the X-Men kind of style mutants. Ended up there was a group that was, I guess from what I've seen so far of the series, which we got up to episode 3 and then they cut it off, so we only saw like a few minutes of episode 3. It seemed to be that it was an evil group of terrorists. That's what everybody called them. But they seem to be maybe possibly not evil like everybody was saying. So that seemed to be an interesting one. Next came up one called Blast Tempest, which I'm not sure that was actually what they showed. I think it was actually something else. But it was interesting. It was actually it was based off of a play from Shakespeare. And the premise of it anyway, and it was actually interesting. Pretty much it was about a guy his sister was murdered, and he pretty much sacrifices himself to not only find her killer so he can kill him, but ends up he has to save the world in the process. So that's sort of part of the bargain, and so he ends up getting magical powers to stop them. And that was about the time that I actually stopped watching. Went out and sort of messed around a bit. And then I went up to what was called the final autograph session, and it was hectic. Probably should have done a little bit better of a job on that, because those lines were everywhere, and they were intersecting. you did not know which line you were standing in. So yeah, that was sort of interesting. And Chicken was actually supposed to be part of it, and then something happened, and they cut his autograph. They didn't end up putting it up, so he ended up, he was tired, which I'm not gonna lie, I haven't done a con in a while, so it took a lot out of me. Whereas I'm not as young as the last time I went to one. That was about 7 years ago. So that was pretty hard. But in the end, not as many people there as they were Saturday. A lot of the people, sort of filled to the brim, if you will, the BJC. And so a lot of people there were Saturday. So yeah, there's not a lot of people there. A lot of the rooms weren't very crowded, and quite a few of the vendors had actually already left. Which one of the girls I bought a few of my pins, which I'll show here in a bit, she had already left. I was actually going to go buy a few more, but sadly she wasn't there Sunday. I guess she had a good distance to drive. But hopefully I'll see her at I think it's called Hamicom. I've never really been to that one. I've heard good and bad things about it, so that'll probably be the next con I'll try to do, which I think that's in Huntsville, I believe. So yeah, that'll be the next one. But anyway, all in all, my impressions for this was my first time at Comic-Con Season 5. This is now the 5th one. It was very interesting. Not as big as some of the other ones I've been to, like Dragon Con and different ones like that. But all in all, it was very nice. The people that were working it, both the guests and the people that were actually volunteering, they were all very nice. Got to meet quite a few of them. Very, like I said, very, very nice. They did very good work. Loved what they did, and that's the one thing you always have to see, is that people do what they like, and that means they put all their heart and soul into it. So like I said in the second video, if I have the chance next year, I would definitely attempt to come up from Florida and do that, and then probably come and visit my parents for a day or two before going back, sort of take a little bit of a break. But yeah, it was very nice. All in all, like I said, I filled out a survey, and there were very few things I could see that they needed to do. One thing is definitely need more actually volunteer people, because there was a time there that they were very short-handed. If I'd actually known that when I got there Friday, which I got there 2 hours early because of Chicken having to get in there and sign up, I actually would have volunteered and got the helper badge, which I got a blank badge at first just to so I could go wherever I wanted. And I ended up having to turn that in for my actual regular badge. But it was very fun. Another one that was sort of an issue, which this was actually one of the first cons that I've been to where they didn't do this. In the panels where people are actually asking the special guest a question, there were times where it was really hard to figure out what people were saying. And so what would have actually been a really good idea would have what's called a mic chaser, where you actually have a person that has a mic and they go out to people and they hold the mic to them so everybody can hear what they're saying. But ended up didn't have a lot of issue with it. Another thing, some of the equipment was a lack thereof needing, I guess. Some of the sound equipment was a little off. The anime rooms, even though they weren't very big rooms, they had very small flat screen televisions in there. I really wish that they'd actually put bigger screens in there, just so it would have been easier for people in like the back row to see it, because for the ones that actually had like subtitles, very hard from the back row to read that. And so that was one thing I would definitely suggest. I sadly didn't do that in the survey because there wasn't a lot of room on the survey paper, but I would say definitely bigger screens in the anime rooms, more events, is what I said. Maybe a few more panels. Definitely, I would suggest not. Which when they first, I guess, let me explain this. When they first started, like I said in the day 2 video, they actually had where you had in the I guess it's called the ballroom, I believe. They would have the panel for the special guest, and then once that was done, they would move over into an adjacent room that was connected, which was the autograph room. Well, for the first day and half of Saturday, they kept it that way, and then they found out that there were so many people, especially Saturday, that were wanting autographs that they were going over the time that they had actually sort of scheduled, and it was running into the fact that they didn't have a place to put the next person. So they eventually started moving them actually downstairs into the front, which was kind of awkward because they didn't explain that. So people were waiting in line to get that person's autograph, and all the other people had left and gone downstairs. So yeah, no, probably need to have a little more talk towards their people so they know when things have been moved. But all in all, it was a fun day. Definitely would do it again. I would suggest if you haven't done it, you need to go to Comic-Con because it was fun. Very good guests, very good panels, very good events. A few of them, obviously, because I have spinal damage I couldn't do, which they had a dodgeball tournament and a few other little minor things. But yeah, I literally couldn't do those. Just out of the fact that I didn't want to, re-damage, my body, because it's getting to the point it's, doing a lot better now. It's actually starting to heal up, starting to go back to the way I used to be. But yeah, I mean, that's just my, like I said, my first impressions of Comic-Con 2013 Season 5. Definitely a must-go-to. I believe Season 6, they're going to continue with the BJCC in Birmingham, Alabama. So, and I think definitely they're going to be prepared this time. I really hope, because they know now, hey, we have a bigger area, and there's probably going to be a lot more people because word of mouth spreads. Hey, it's not in Huntsville anymore at the little dinky university. It's now in this big area. So yeah, I think it's going to be a lot better next year. Can't wait to see it. I definitely hope I can come and see it. But that's all. That's my day 3 impressions. Please, rate, subscribe, and thumbs up. Definitely try to watch the other videos. Like I said, I put the adult improv panel, and I put the opening ceremony. And here shortly, I'm going to put what I picked up at the Comic-Con from different areas. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and thanks for tuning in.